So,
Okay, sounds good.
3, 2, 1, go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another fun-filled, exciting episode. Also, another short episode today of the old Noodle. Uh, with you today is Aaron, and joining me as always is.
Luke, and
All
it's
right.
7:32 early morning my time.
Yep. So that puts me at 10:32 here on Eastern Standard Time. So go ahead and throw up that vid.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I think we left off last week with Luke
A little
having a
cliffhanger.
having a breakdown and coming to the realization that he has been wanting a PS4 for quite a while now, and
I don't know if it was more
uh,
of a realization that I've been wanting a PS4 or that I really hate the Xbox. A little
it
bit of
was
both. A
well.
little bit
I
of
think
both.
we had come to the realization of your hate for Xbox for a while now. I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was more so the realization of you coming to grips with. I think I want a PS4. Um, so go ahead and tell us. I mean, what did you do? Did you get
Right.
one?
Yep. Right after we signed off, I went online and started shopping for one, and I found the Destiny 500 gigabyte bundle for like $400 at Target, and bought it right then and there, and
Also,
went and picked up an hour later.
so you went to Target. I thought you went to Walmart.
I was gonna go to Walmart, but I got like some like 7% cash back rewards at Target, so I was like,
Oh
ah, I
yeah,
might as
yeah, yeah,
well.
yeah. It's a good deal. It's a good
Yeah.
deal.
So yeah, it happened. Xbox is boxed up and ready to
Hmm.
be sold, and
Well, you know what? You know what's funny is for some reason I was actually thinking of trying to sell mine
really,
this morning. This morning actually, yeah. I don't know like what kind of wave came over me, but
I can tell you what wave
yeah,
where you just don't need it anymore,
yeah,
and you're
yeah.
like, it could just sit there,
Well, and
or
that's
I
the
could
thing.
put
It's
three
like
hundred
I'm
dollars into my pocket.
yeah, it's like I'm really afraid that it's just never going to get used,
It won't.
and you know, and it just sucks because I have like I just bought like we bought a Jackbox game,
Yeah.
bought or I bought, excuse me, the PGA Tour for $40, and like I really didn't get to play a whole lot of it because Destiny owns us.
Right.
So it's one of those things where I can't quite justify just throwing it out there and being like, all right, I'll take X amount of money for
Mm-hmm.
this. But kind of like what you do is I would basically throw in my account,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
I would basically just sort of uh, look up the values of what because my idea is I would look up trade values for everything because I have a particular party in mind that I would try to ask first
Sure.
because they've been kind of looking for one,
Right.
and they're like a family, so I don't want to like try and gouge them.
Right. Right.
So it would be something where it's like I would look up like you know GameStop's trade values for everything and just
And
give
add
it to
that
them
on
at
to the
that.
base price.
Yeah, yeah, and just see where I'm at from there and seeing if it's like I mean, not to sound heartless, but not be too generous. You know what I
Right.
mean?
To at
Because
least
like
get
I mean,
some of
I
your money. You spent that
yeah,
money.
yeah. I
Shit.
mean, I spent a lot on it, but I mean, at the same time, like sort of give them a better deal than what they would go out there and find. So,
That makes
so yeah,
sense.
yeah. So I mean, again, like I'm not. It's not like I'm going to go out right after this show and start
Trying to,
researching.
yeah, get on the
Yeah,
corner. Xbox. Got an
mm-hmm,
Xbox or sale.
mm. Yeah, because I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure that I want to get rid of it. But
I'm so
just
sure on mine.
well, you did get rid of yours though, right?
Well, I've had people like keep saying, but nobody's actually picked it up yet.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
but it's sitting here ready to be. It'll be gone.
Yeah, like you did the factory reset and everything on it. So,
Yeah, it's ready to go.
so what are you gonna do about your account? Are you gonna?
I use Epic and PC for stuff like that.
Hmm.
I don't know if you know that site, but it's where you can just go on and sell. That's where I sold my World of Warcraft account. That's where I sold my League of Legends account. So I figured, I mean, they sell. There's a bunch of people selling their Xbox accounts on there, which is, dude, this is nuts. I'm gonna share this with you. So I went
Hmm.
on there just like trying to see what prices were for some people that were this high in Destiny.
Hmm.
People were selling their accounts for like $400 or $500, dude.
That's insane.
And
Well, because I mean,
I compared a little bit, and there's
mhm.
some that are like 350, 400, and I have better gear than them. And I'm just like, well, this might be possible.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So
crazy.
yeah.
I
So
mean, who?
if I can sell mine for $300, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I know that there's crazy enough people out there to do that.
Oh, me neither.
I could never just wake up and be like, you know what? I think I got about $400 to drop on a Destiny account today. You know what? I don't want to play any of the game.
Yeah.
I just want to get all the way. But see, that's the thing. I've never agreed, and this is anything that has like a leveling up system or an end game system. I never, I've never wanted to from the get go play end game stuff. Like if I've
Yeah.
never played the game before, I don't want to be like, all right, well, let me pop online and see if I can spend $200 on an account that has all end game.
Yeah, everything's already finished. That way I don't
Yeah,
have to play any of it. I just want to
yeah.
get a
I
game so I
mean,
don't have to play.
now, and the one thing, and of course, I mean, we've seen that Blizzard's already moved to their own sort of uh, service for this, but you know, after you make your umpteenth thousand World of Warcraft character, you get the. I mean, especially for the people that are really, really involved to it. I mean, everybody gets the lore, everybody knows the story, everybody knows the world, and they don't need to necessarily play through all of that again.
Hmm.
So you know, but of course, you just spend $60 and you get in game you get an end game ish character. Like you still have to play a lot of like the from the most recent expansion and things like that, but you don't have to start from level 1 and go all the way up to 90.
Right, right.
Um,
Like
you
what
know,
I did
all
when I
over it.
bought it.
Right, right. Which yours? I mean, obviously, when the expansion came out, Draenor,
Hmm.
you got your and it's like Destiny. Destiny gave you that spark that put you to 25. That entered you into the Taken King right away. You didn't have to necessarily do anything extra
Hmm.
to go in there and start playing and start leveling up. Because the way that their subclass works, you know, you literally beat the introductory mission, and then it's like, oh hey, go do your
Yeah.
Stormcaller or your Night Stalker or what I still don't know the actual name for the Titans. What is that one? Hammer
There's
Forged or Iron or something?
Sunbreaker.
Sunbreaker. That's what it is. Yeah, yeah. I knew they weren't going to make it too long like Iron Forged,
Right,
but
right.
Hammer Forged. But I just couldn't. I couldn't
Couldn't get
remember.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sunbreaker. Yeah.
yeah. Sunbreaker. But yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things where it's like for anybody else out in the world, I just can't imagine them just waking up and being
Want to
perfectly
buy an
fine
account.
with saying like, okay, well, you know, I'm gonna spend $400 today on an account.
No.
Like,
And see,
and,
it's funny, dude, because I was looking at them and like there's one on there was like $200, and there was like quite a bit of offers, like wanting to buy it, and it was
mhm,
like a level 40 hunter with the story completed and maybe 10 exotics from year one and year two combined, and he wants 200, and people were ready to buy it. I'm like, I have three characters with
yeah,
almost, well, they're all 40. Every single class besides like the newest class, the subclass is maxed.
hmm,
So, and the hunter is. Um, Most of the year one exotics. Probably like I'm missing like probably five or six.
right. But you've at least got it. I mean, and even though if you don't have them in your inventory, you've got like the
The
blueprints,
blue,
like
yeah,
in
right.
your kiosk or
The only one
whatever.
I don't have is like the ones that you get from completing the Prison of Elders again,
Like,
like when you choose the direct pistol instead of the.
hmm,
I don't have
hmm,
those. There are two of those. I don't have Vex Mytho class.
right.
But so there's just a bunch. Plus so that's all they have. So you buy that account, you get the Destiny digital download with the expansion and this character for $200. Mine, you get the Destiny digital, all the stuff. You get Diablo 3, you get Halo the Master Chief Collection, you get the Jackbox. Like there's a bunch of games I have.
Right,
Titanfall.
right.
So I mean,
And that's yeah, and that's definitely what I would be you know, factoring in when I would either and again like that's the thing too is like I don't and I'm really bad about this too. Like I don't do Craigslist, I don't do eBay, I don't do things where I have to like get on and I know it sounds extremely lazy, but it's like I don't do things where I have to get onto a website, I have to post, I have to write descriptions and things like that for something to try to sell something locally.
mm-hmm.
It's like I would rather just and again, it's going to sound like I'm a spokesperson for GameStop or G2K or you know or any retailer that trades
Mm-hmm.
merchandise in. It's really it's like that's I know that there's a service out there where I just take it in. Yeah, you know, and that's the thing. It's like I definitely understand that they're the middleman, and that being that I'm not going to get what I
Right.
would do if I went. But that's the trade off that you
Yeah, for the
accept when you
convenience.
go and do something like that. I mean, yes, if I wanted to spend the time to go online, update your Craigslist post like every last time I checked it, it was like every 2 days or every
Yeah,
something.
if you want
Had
to
to
put
like
it
refresh.
put it back on the top of the list.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like I don't have time for that. I don't have the want to do that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just want to take it somewhere. I want them to give me what they're asking for it and just be on my merry way.
Right.
Like and that's why I've never no again, like I mean there's sometimes like like I could go in somewhere and be like, oh well, that's just a little bit too low. Like I mean, everybody's got their price.
Mm,
But
sure.
at the same time, I'm not going to sit in here, go in and rip on somebody like, oh, well, that's BS that you're only going to give me $5 for this game that's, a year old. And it's like, dude, because we're going to turn around and try to make a $10 profit off of it. I mean, if we gave you the exact amount or more for what we were going to sell it,
Our
how do
company
you
wouldn't
think?
exist.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just, and again, for anybody personally that's listening, I mean, I'm a freaking broken record because I've been spouting this for years now, but it's still I just refuse to accept that people are that naive that and then just don't understand. But but yeah, so that's why like the Epic NPC like that sounds like a great website. I just don't want to go through the hassle of like
Sure.
dealing with people and being like and that's the thing too is I hate being haggled for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
it's like if I were to put, let's just say I threw my stuff up there for 250 with all of the downloaded games in my Destiny account,
Mm-hmm.
and and then I get some douchebag that goes on there and is like, oh well, that's bullshit, but I'll give you 150
100.
for it,
Right.
and I'm just like, no, dude, screw off, and he's like, well, like that's such a ripoff, and you just get into this back and forth,
Yeah,
and
it
it's
happens all the
like,
time with my Craigslist. I'll get a text to be like, "Yeah, is the Xbox One still available?" I'll text back, "Yep, yeah, I have it." All right, well, how about 180? Dude.
how about you just go ahead and sit on whatever
Yeah,
you enjoy and jog
put
on?
that
Like
yeah,
that's
put that phone vertically and sit on it, because
yeah,
you can't go into GameStop and get an Xbox with two controllers, just that for 180 bucks, dude. So
right, right.
I might as
Yeah.
well go trade it in because I get 175 just to trade in my console. So
hmm
I'm already you're beating it right there. So
Yeah, and you could still sell your account.
right, exactly. And
You could,
the controllers and the games. I could try to
right,
trade that in for 200 total.
right, right, and then make bank off. I mean, supposed bank off of your account on
Right,
that website. I mean,
right.
yeah. So it's just people are so dumb, man. And again, like and okay. I say that they're dumb. They're not dumb, but they're ballsy. I guess I'll put it that way. They're ballsy for constantly going in and being like, "Oh man, I'm going to get a deal out of this. I'm going to haggle this guy down." And I've never understood that, and I'm not that type of person to like walk up to somebody and be like, "Oh, I see you're selling this for 20 bucks, but how about I give you 15 for it and I walk away." Or
Right.
some, and just like I can never and like there's some cultures that's their business
Yeah,
structure
that's what they
is
do.
is haggling,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you've got those like in town markets and things like that, and all you do is sit there and haggle
Yep.
down something, and it's like dude, I would have a heart attack.
My
It
anxiety would
seems
be through the roof.
yeah, it seems so stressful to walk up and be like, oh, you're selling this beaded necklace for $10. Well, I mean, will you take it for 8?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, "Oh no, but I mean, I'll,
Do it
da
for
da da."
9.
And then you have to be like, "Oh well, there's Mr. Barnes
Down the street.
two shops down that'll give me his beaded necklace for 650. I'm willing to give you 850, but hey, that's okay." And then the shop owner's like, "Wait,
Yep, yep,
okay, you
yep.
get it for 850." And it's like, okay, so you've already put way too much time and effort into this
A
to
dollar
save.
50.
Yeah. So it's just like, come on, man, come on, like,
Yep. It's like when
but
people are like, wait, they get like pissed off when they see gas prices like drop the next day after getting gas. Like, oh god.
Yeah,
I can't
well,
believe that. Well, okay,
yeah,
it dropped 4 cents. That means it would take, like, what is that? You had to buy 100 gallons to save $4. Chill.
right,
It's all
right.
right.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, I mean, now there have been times where like maybe I've been down to like a fourth of a tank or or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and I mean something to where I could clearly have made it until the next day,
Right.
and then it drops. Like I'm a bit
Annoyed.
annoyed, but I'm not like, oh, like such bull, like why do they do this? They have it out for me, and it's like, no, dude, like they really don't. I mean, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying though, yeah, but so I mean that's the whole thing. Like I said, I'm not sure that I'm gonna hop on that boat and sell mine right away,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just one of those things where it's like I said before, it's like I now I've got so many people
On the
that are
PlayStation.
constantly on PlayStation. I mean, I have friends on the Xbox, but like it's one of those things where they're they're people that are just like I'm well acquainted with,
Right.
but don't actually like share any personal time or I mean it sounds rude, but personal interest in. And
Sure.
that's the same thing with them. Like that. I mean, it's a two-way street. They don't
Mm-hmm.
share personal interest with me, but they know me.
Right.
Like, but at least like on the PS4, I've got people that I've worked with. I've got people that I went to like to college and grade school with, and then of course I've got you, which is the only person that I play with 90% of the time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like playing with my college buddy on here over the past week has been the first, and I'm not joking, has been the well, okay, sorry, besides my brother-in-law, but he's also family.
Right. It's yeah. It
Yeah,
doesn't
but like this
count.
has been the first friend like outside of you and I playing that I've played a game with when you haven't been on.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's so different from that on the Xbox
Right.
because when I see people sign on and get online and stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, well, there's so and so. I still
Don't
have to,
care.
yeah, like I don't care. I'm still gonna wait for Luke to get on and things like that. Um, so yeah, it's a different environment as far as the friends and the population,
Mm-hmm.
versus who's on the Xbox anymore.
Right.
So so yeah, but
Yeah. I mean, since I bought, like, I just this thing is so much better. It pisses me off that I've waited so long.
yeah. I mean, give us your personal biased review of your
My
time
my
with the
my
best.
biased review.
Yeah,
Well, and it's
well, because
funny.
it's
It's
because it's
funny
you.
too.
It's you.
Yeah,
You're not here to sell it.
but it's funny too because for the longest time growing up, when the first Xbox and PlayStation, like the PlayStation 2 Xbox war, like
Hmm.
always hated Sony. Hated it. Hated
Me too.
people. I hated people that had a PlayStation. Like
Yeah, there's
you don't have
something about
you
it.
don't have an Xbox?
Yeah,
Don't talk to me.
you're dead to me.
And honestly, that was even like all the way up to this Xbox One. I'm still like, nope, just no
Hmm.
PlayStation. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want people to tell me about the game. I don't care what exclusives they have. It's not an Xbox. I don't want to
Hmm.
talk about it. So, you think I would be biased towards the Xbox,
Right.
but I think it's just you can only guard something and stay true to something as long as it stays true to you.
Right. Right. Well,
And
and
it's
that yeah, and that's the
Xbox is
point that
not
I
the
was going to
case.
make is because the original Xbox was like that was gaming.
Mind blowing. Oh,
Well, and it
dude.
was, and that's it. Like it had one job. It was to play your games, and then and I remember it took so long, at least to my memory, it took so long, or at least a pretty good while, for them to come out with that DVD adapter. Do you remember that?
Yes, the
And
little
you had to
like in
put
your
the
controller.
the yeah in the fourth player slot
Yeah.
was what it was,
Mhm.
and it came with the little remote,
Yep.
but that was not a launch feature. Like,
No.
I mean, I'm sure the technology was there, obviously, to play DVDs from day one, but the want by Microsoft for you to pop in a DVD video was not first on their list. You know what it was? Fucking games.
Right. And it's
Like
not, yeah,
playing
because
games
now
and
they
enjoy.
have it. It's like, oh, if you look on the back of the Xbox, you can actually plug in your cable TV box. and
Yeah,
use it
yeah,
as a guide. And
and
then
now it's
it
all
doesn't
like,
hardly work because a friend
yeah.
down the street likes to use it, and he has to redo everything like once
Mm-hmm.
a month.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude. And
Yeah.
then it's that's the thing. Like if they want to add all these nice, awesome features, and like the whole use it as a DVR, and it's your one receiver for your cable box, and
Mm-hmm.
awesome if it works.
Right.
Because nothing ever works. Like click on my friends list, and it takes 2 minutes to load, and then it kicks me back to the home screen, and I have to do it again. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing: it's like performance-wise, you know what takes the longest on a PS4 in terms of social aspect is joining a party. And even then, I say that it takes the longest, but when I say that, know that I mean that it only takes about 5 literal seconds after you click join for it to connect you to your actual party.
mm-hmm.
That's but like you go to your friends list. Well, first of all, you just hover over like over your friends list icon, and it gives you a preview, which is nice. For for Xbox, you kind of have to tab all the way out from like your main like home screen, I guess, and then you have to wait for it to slowly carousel
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
because
through your friends.
you can't snap the app because
Right.
snapping is the worst
Right.
thing
Yeah,
on
you could
earth.
snap it, but it's not really advised that you would
Yeah,
want
you'll
to do
wait
that. But
twice as long.
But I mean, with the preview aside, like you go into you click A on the friends icon, and immediately there's
You
who's
mean so
online.
your X for you're talking PlayStation?
Yeah.
Okay, we said A, and I was like, wait, are we talking
Oh
about
yeah, yeah.
Xbox or
Sorry,
PlayStation?
you hit X, um, and right there immediately, like there's your friends. There's who's online with the new. Like they actually just had an update this week,
Mm-hmm.
which was funny. Like perfect timing
For me,
for
yeah.
you. Um, and everything, which we'll kind of get to that in a second. But yeah, you go into the friends list on there, and and now they have like communities and things like that that you can
Mm-hmm.
join and things like that. But the most important thing is that you don't have to wait for your friends to like your friends list on Xbox has to refresh when you go into the friends app. It has to refresh.
Mm-hmm.
And if you try to move and navigate around that app too fast, then it stutters,
Right.
and it's such a pain in the ass. But PS4 doesn't do that. It tells you who's online. If you want to join a party, hey, you can join a party and get that set up and everything like that. And it's nice and simple.
Yep.
Um, other than that, like navigating through. Oh yeah, because here's another thing too. And again, it's probably out there on Xbox, but they do a damn good job of hiding it. You know who doesn't hide their PlayStation Plus, like basically games for gold and things like that, and that's Sony. That's PlayStation 4, and like before this update, even going to the store, it had its own like thing like that. On the Xbox, the only way that I could find it was being out in the main dashboard and going over
Mm-hmm.
to the friends list section for some reason, and then you had to click on the advertisement.
Right.
So it wasn't even a segregated area where it's like, okay, like here's your Xbox Live Games for Gold area, or anything like that. You had to click on an advertisement of the game that is available this month,
Mm-hmm.
or one of the games that was available this month.
Yep.
PlayStation, you go into the PlayStation Store, and it's like, I don't know, it's a few links down.
Right.
But there it is. It's right there, PS Plus, and then you go in there, and it has everything from renewing your account or extending your time or whatever to the free games that you get this month to discounted games and videos and things like that.
Yep.
And it's all right there. But now it's even easier because with this update, they give you the PlayStation Plus icon on like your see, because there's and it's kind of weird to try to justify like what vertical or I mean excuse me, what horizontal carousel I'm talking about, because there's the one that's up top that shows you your profile pic, your
Right.
settings and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the one that shows you like, I
Your
guess
main
it's like your
navigation.
recently played carousel, or it's got like your games, or if you've been watching it, or if you've been using an app or something. So like I guess the best way to denote it is like your systems
There you
carousel.
go. Okay.
But yeah, so on the system carousel, they all the way to the left, they added the PlayStation Plus logo, and that's your one-stop shop for everything PlayStation Plus, and it's so simple to
Yeah,
get.
like it should be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, and
dude,
Xbox.
the functionality of this thing compared to that Xbox is just unreal. It's
Yeah,
almost unreal. It's like,
yeah.
wow, this is I paid more. You know, like I
Hmm.
paid more for that Xbox when I got it. So
Yeah, and it's one of those things too where it's like if I get a party invite, I press the PlayStation button to go to the home. Now I will say that, unless you go to the party icon in the system carousel, going through the notifications way is a little bit more like button clicks.
yeah,
I don't have to wait for an Xbox. I don't have to wait for a party app to snap against my screen, and then I don't have to wait
it to
uh,
finally catch up,
for it to finally load in and click join and things like that. I
and
click
then
one
on
button.
Snap.
It says join, and like I said, that's the longest thing that I've seen that the PS4 takes doing is it takes about 5 seconds of the little loading icon, but then you're in, and then that's it, and you're done, and you press the PlayStation Jewel one more time, and it puts you on what you were doing last. So like for me, like where I was playing Destiny, I pop out of Destiny, go into the party, press the PlayStation Jewel, boom, it's on Destiny. I just press X, I'm back in the game
Yep.
immediately, and it's so nice. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, you can press the Xbox Jewel and press down and do all this other stuff, and it's like, yeah, but I mean, as far as streamline and like how many clicks it takes to get to something, I think PS4
Oh
wins
yeah.
out on the
It.
least button clicks and the execution
Oh
performance
yeah.
as
Oh
far as
yeah.
getting the party,
For
getting
it
you into
to
the party or
minimize, yeah,
starting.
minimize your game, join up
Yeah.
the party, bring it. Oh yeah, it's so
Mhm.
much quicker. It's ridiculous. Another
Now,
thing I really like too is I don't really like the layout of the controller. Again, I don't like the thumbsticks down below. I like one a little up here. That's all
yeah,
right. I'm
yeah,
getting used to it. I'm getting used to it. But I
yeah,
do like how they have just a regular old 3.5 millimeter jack right there.
right,
They
right.
don't need.
That in.
Oh, you don't. If you want to use your own headset, you got to go out and buy this $80 adapter through Microsoft. And
Uh,
yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where, or if you do want to get a headset, they've got their own, like wired and wireless headsets and things
Right.
like that you can choose from too, which I actually used on both consoles because of the way that my setup is. But but yeah, like it's one of those things where yeah, you can just if you've got a mic'd pair of earbuds or a mic'd headphone or something like that, you should just be
Just
able to
use it.
plug it right in and,
Yeah.
and take off. So no adapter required. But
Right.
the one thing, if I had to give Xbox something, is I do feel that when it comes to sort of an online, like sort of the online experience, like, and again, like Sony in this generation with their PS4 has caught up immensely
Mm-hmm.
with their online environment as far as gaming, social, you name it, anything online. They've really caught up from their PS3 era or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Sure.
Um, but it is one of those things where, like, I've been sitting here and obviously playing Destiny online and things like that, and there's just something about I don't know. There's just something about like the feel and things of it where I do feel like Xbox Live is still a really good service in the
Mm-hmm.
means of like connectivity and things like that. Now again, I say this and I can't really quite put my finger on an exact situation within Sony. But I don't know. There's just something where, like I said, I just can't quite put my finger on it. But I do kind of miss the Xbox Live service as a whole.
Sure. And
Um,
I would agree with it because I actually get. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I mess something up when trying to open up my NAT on the PS4 or what, but I get booted quite a bit from
really.
Destiny. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you may need to finagle with it. I mean, I knock on wood haven't had any problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually been really, really good. But again, and it's probably just because I'm trying to compare it to last generation, where it was PS3 and Xbox 360. And I mean, at that time, like Xbox Live was still blowing,
Oh yeah.
like,
It
uh,
wasn't even yeah, you couldn't even compare the two.
yeah, PlayStation Network out of the water. Like
Right.
it was just, yeah, tenfold. But like I said, I mean, PS4 or just PSN in general as a service has really made leaps and bounds
Yeah.
during this generation. Um, but kind of circling back, sorry. So one of the other things that I have to kind of give to Xbox as well, and again, it's not really like a primary issue, but it's one of those things where you start doing that scenario and you find out that it's just not as good,
Mm-hmm.
is the suspension of apps.
Yeah.
So the thing is, and I know that you weren't application heavy with your Xbox One.
Nope.
I, on the other hand, was like I was snapping Pandora. I was, and then I would snap or I would go into Skype
Mm-hmm.
or do all this. And yes, like the load times for these applications were atrocious.
Right.
But the thing was, is once you opened them and you left, and I think you can have up to like you can have one primary app, which is like 10 out of 10 times, I think it's your game. Like
Sure.
whatever game you're playing, you can have one of those open. And then I think you can have up to like three, maybe even four different applications like open, quote unquote, before it kicks out like your like far, like your, I don't even know, like the one that you opened
The first.
first. Yeah. And it just kind of rotates it out, right?
Sure. Sure.
But PlayStation, you can have certain applications run while your primary, aka your game, is running. But for instance, if I had Destiny open and running and I wanted to watch YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
this screen pops up and it says, "Oh hey, you're going into a new application.
Destiny will have to close.
We're gonna have to suspend this for you." And the first time I was like, "Oh, okay, like that's no big deal," because I figured it worked just like the Xbox One. No, it like actually ends your Destiny session.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, if you're playing a single player game, that might not happen because you're not having an internet connection or anything like that.
Right.
Now again, the reason for this is that Sony wants your experience, whatever it is that you're doing, to be more solid and more fluid and things like that. And I think that's kind of why these applications on Xbox do stutter and do hang up quite a bit, is because the system itself is sharing resources to try and have all of these applications that I have open up running still in the background.
Right.
And so like that's, you're sacrificing from the Xbox, you're sacrificing performance for convenience,
Sure.
whereas it's the opposite. You're sacrificing convenience for performance. And it's at the end of the day, I want performance over convenience.
Yeah. Me
But it
too.
was just one of those things where like I just catch myself wanting to do that, where I just kind of like queue up apps and I try to open things to like kind of flip in and out of, and
Sure.
PlayStation's like, no, you can't really do that, guy. And I'm like, oh, okay. But one thing, and it's nice because it kind of gets me through load times or waiting in the tower and things like that, is their live from PlayStation app, which is basically like their built-in sort of Twitch, because they have Twitch channels. They have their like UStream, which
Mm.
is what it's called. And basically, you can go in there and everything's filtered out by games or by viewership or whatever the case is. And you can load right into a video and start watching a live stream. And that actually won't suspend your game. Like
Gotcha.
in the true sense, suspend your game.
Gotcha.
But if you try to load like an actual like application as far as like YouTube or Hulu or whatever else, or if you put in another game, obviously the game's going to be the first game's going to be like, okay, well we're turning this off because
Right.
like I've got Metal Gear Solid downloaded. If I click on Metal Gear Solid, it's like, okay, well if you do this, then you're also going to go ahead and exit out of Destiny. Do you want to do that? And you can either say okay or you can say cancel. Um, which obviously that makes sense. Xbox does that, but
Right. Sure.
but yeah. So that was kind of my only other quirk about like PS4 and Xbox, as far as like Xbox kind of taking the candle, but it's a very short candle at that, because it's
Yeah.
like I said, at the end of the day, like and this is what the selling point for you was performance and
Yeah. Because I
functionality.
like you. I don't do apps. I don't.
Mm.
I just want it. I just want my freaking games to work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so with that, I mean, having to start over in Destiny,
That's
was
the
it a
only
big
bad
deal?
thing.
Was
I
it a
mean,
big deal as you thought it was from our last episode?
um, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's very bittersweet.
Hmm.
Um, I find myself like constantly thinking back to all the stuff that I had, and
Yeah,
I
and
think
I've done
most of
that.
it's resources and stuff like that. And it's just like, wow, there was so much
Yeah,
So much done, you
yeah,
know.
I have no Relic Iron
Yeah.
on my PS4 account, but I have you go over to my Xbox account and I've got like 200
Yep.
Relic Iron like in a stack.
I know. It
And it just
sucks.
hurts because I'm like, well, and that's the thing too is now they've taken away the resource exchange. So now you can't go in and give like marks or glimmer or whatever, for a stack of 10 or 20 or
Well,
whatever. I think it was 20.
you can through
Where at?
for the
I have
Vanguard Quartermaster, but see, it's
oh
not worth it now anymore. Because it
oh
used to
okay.
be worth it when you had these Crucible marks that you didn't care
Right,
about, and you had
right.
200 from that week, and you're just like,
Hmm.
yep, 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 and you just bought
Yep.
them all. But with this whole legendary mark system, where you have to have those for your armor and your weapons, you go to the Vanguard Quartermaster and you have to give him 10 for 20 pieces, and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah, and the thing is like okay, like certain activities give you 10 or
Like the
15.
bounty, yeah. Sometimes like a bounty, like
Either that
the
or like doing your
reconnaissance.
daily or doing the daily PvP or something like that. So, I mean, but at the same time, it's like you can only do that once per day. You can't
Right.
sit here and earn 4 Vanguard marks per
Yeah,
game.
per strike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or per strike or something like that, and then take it back to the Vanguard. Which that's good to know though. I thought Bungie had taken
It away
the
completely.
resource exchange completely away. Which I mean, granted, I had forgotten that the Vanguard Quartermaster did it too.
Right, because it was the
Because I went to
Crucible
the yeah,
handler.
I always went to the Crucible because it was a shorter distance,
Sure.
and I never bought Crucible gear.
Right. Same
So it
with
was one of
me.
those things like yeah,
My
and like we
Crucible
would play.
marks were for my resources. That was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like we'd play multiplayer, and then I would go spend those marks at the Crucible Quartermaster for.
Yeah. But
And that's
Vanguard
and
still
that's
does do it.
why that's why I have so much. It's not that I spent
Hours of
insane amount
farming.
of hours farming on the planets or anything like that. It's because I had 200 Crucible marks. And I spent about 150 of them on you know a handful of each resource, and
Right.
I was set after that.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, if you're ever in a pinch, you need it. Vanguard Quartermaster. He
mhm,
does sell it. 10 legendary marks for 20
yeah,
resources. So.
yeah. But you make a good point. It almost seems really, really ridiculous to go and do that because of the certain and again I haven't found and there's already videos I've seen videos on YouTube that's like easy way to farm legendary
Right.
marks and stuff like that and it's like yeah I'm sure there are ways out there but as of right now to just go in and play it non-cheese
Yep.
it's it's kind of limited on how often you get legendary marks and
Yep.
things like that
Yep.
so
Especially when you're like infusing all the time.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I would rather be infusing my weapons and
Right.
my armor than than going out and blowing 10 marks for 20. Like you said, it'd have to be a damn good pinch.
Yeah,
To
you'd have to be like,
it's like
you have to
if
know
I'm at
that
like
your
two,
last piece of armor, you're like, I'm going to keep this. This is going to be it. This is what I'm going to use. I
yeah,
need to get this upgraded. Then yes, it's worth it because it's just like infusing it, so to speak, because
yeah,
you're
yeah.
upgrading it.
Like you're two light levels shy of going into the raid, and you
Right,
know that if you
exactly.
spend 10 for this stack of resources, it's gonna get like make you raid ready.
Mm-hmm.
Then yes, I would do that. But
Right. Yeah. I mean, so, I mean, the comparison between the two, I mean, starting over, it's just the price I had to pay to get the PlayStation. I mean, it's
hmm
worth it. It just sucks. It's like I said,
yeah.
it's a bittersweet thing, but
Now
I
what are
mean, if
some?
if I can sell my account for $400, it's not gonna be bittersweet. I'm gonna be like, you know what? They're worth it. Whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, at least that way you are getting, in a sense, paid for your time.
Exactly.
So but you've been playing another game or two, haven't you? Like
Just
what else have you
just
been
just
playing?
Last of Us. That's the only
Hmm
other game I got.
And
And I haven't played it too much, but again, I never played anything alone on the Xbox. I never had. I mean, if you look at the Xbox One exclusives, they're all multiplayer stuff anyway. So it's not like
or
they're made.
multiplayer heavy at least. I mean,
Right. I mean, yeah,
like
Halo has a storyline, but I've played it and
well, and I was thinking more of like Forza because Forza is actually like has a really good single player, and a lot of people do play, but also it has a very inviting online.
yeah, and
But Forza this time around looks like garbage.
See,
And
I'm not I've never been a fan of racing, especially if
mhm.
I'm doing it alone. So then, so that's not
Well,
even something that drew me in.
racing is a really particular feel. Like I have to be in a particular mood,
Right,
and I have poured some hours into the Forza games and things like that. But it's just one of those things where once I get it out of my system, I'm pretty good after that. Like I don't have to. It's not
right,
something that it's not Destiny. I'll
right.
tell you that. But there are people out there that treat it as their destiny.
Sure. Oh yeah,
So.
I know. And I mean, but like The Last of Us, it's not even a PlayStation 4 game. It's a PS3 game remastered for the PS4, and
Hmm.
it's awesome.
Yeah, very,
So
very good. Speaking of other remastered stuff, I know you and I are pretty
Nathan
stoked
Drake.
for the Uncharted collection to come out. Of course, I won't be able to get it day one. I'll have to wait until like the weekend or something.
Sure.
But you know,
I probably will. I'll be on fall break, so
yeah,
I'll probably grab it.
good deal.
So
But
yeah,
yeah,
it's worth it. Bittersweet though, but if anybody's looking for an Xbox One Destiny account, hit me up.
well, and, and it'll take time. And I think from kind of what you witnessed, a couple days this week, the people, because like I said before, we actually switched over. The people that I played with on PlayStation, they're systematic. Like they know how to get to max light, max rank in as little time as possible.
Sure.
So it's one of those things where if you are worried about like having to make that
Yeah, but
climb again,
see, I'm not because I don't. I want
yeah.
to get the way I want to get there the way I did on Xbox. I don't want
Hmm.
to. I had fun playing on the Xbox, and I don't want to play with people that are like, well, if we do this and this and this and this, we're gonna get this, and it's just like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is that to me, I don't mind doing that. It has to be like a, I know this is going to sound um, lame, but it's like it has to be a welcoming, like nurturing environment. Like
Mm-hmm.
nurturing is, like I said, nurturing is a very lame word to use for
That
that,
makes sense
but it is.
though.
But it's like don't invite me, don't invite to fast track me and then bitch at me the whole time
Right.
that I'm not doing, like they're don't do the whole like you had one job and you didn't do it, and it's like don't give me that crap.
Mm-hmm.
You went out of your way to fast track me. Don't give me that.
Right.
Like, you want to help me, you want to fast track me, I'm down. Don't be an asshole though.
Yep.
Like I will go and play on my own, and you can find an equal asshole type player online to be your third or your fourth or your fifth for a raid or something like that. Like I
Yep.
will go and play Destiny the way that I want to. So yeah, no, I agree with you on that in that respect, but there's only a few people, and it's like they branch from people that are actually on my friends list. It's not so much that it's my personal friends,
Mm-hmm.
because like I think the one that you meant, or that meant the one that you met the other day, he's totally the opposite of that. Like he's super like, yeah, man, like I'm gonna help you. We need to do this and this, and he's very like low key about the whole thing.
Right.
And it's one of those things like we were playing this morning. We were doing Court of Oryx, which I had never, again, like I had never done, and it probably would have taken us a little while to even do it on like
Yeah.
Xbox and stuff
What
like
is
that.
it?
So Court of Oryx is this thing on the dreadnought in patrol mode, and what you have to have is you have to have runes. So you can have anything from the reciprocal runes, which are like it's like the first tier. Again, I don't really get all of it quite yet. I don't understand it, but there's other types of runes that are out there that have like three wave tiers.
Okay.
And to get the experience for, I think it's experience for Eris and things like that, you either have to participate or summon those three tiers to charge
Okay.
up your rune. And then once you charge your rune, you get the experience or you get the loot or whatever from doing those three waves or however much. And there's other runes that are higher level tiers, like one that we did today, and this was the example that I was leading into. One of the runes, or one of the missions actually that I have or that you have too. So we'll have to do that together so you can catch up with me. Is use either participate or summon using an antiquated rune,
Okay.
which apparently is like one of the highest or next to highest waves They were like 300 light level. I couldn't, and it was one of those where they had the question mark for
Yeah,
levels,
you couldn't
and
even do anything to them.
no damage.
Right.
So, but the thing was, is that I was like, oh damn, dude, like I'm sorry, can't do anything. I didn't get chewed out,
Right.
but what it was is I was given a job or a task or whatever you want to call it, that was somewhat beneficial to them, which was calling out, reviving when they dropped, and things like that. So it wasn't like a f off, get out of here, you low
Right.
level scrub or whatever. It was that's the kind of environment that I want to have, is where it's like, oh, okay, you can't really do anything. That's okay. We can find something else for you to do
Mm-hmm.
that's helpful or whatever. And that's the thing. It's like he didn't get mad because he was the one that offered to fast track me.
Sure.
Like it wasn't one of those things where he was like, oh, well, I thought you were light level blah. No, you get to a higher level and then come see me, and then I
Mm-hmm.
don't care to help you. And it's just like, then I'll help my damn self. Like
Right.
and I'll play at my own pace. Like and it's the thing. It's like I didn't necessarily want to do Court of Oryx, but
Mm-hmm.
because he was willing to help, and things like that. It turned out that I had fun doing it, and so it's just the way that they present themselves, and what kind of environment they want to bring to the table.
Sure.
But it would be nice to go ahead and do that for you, because you get a level 300 artifact from the story
Oh hell
quest.
yeah, that'd be cool.
So yeah, so I'm like I think with all of my max inventory items right now, I'm like 265
Okay.
right now. So you do get a pretty cool 300 art level or whatever, 300 defense artifact out of
Yeah,
it.
we'll do that today for sure.
Yeah, if anything, and again too, it's nice because the like randoms, because where it's in patrol mode, like randoms can come in and help and
Help.
do things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very nice. But anything else as far as your experience for PS4, other than the fact that you love it and you never
It's
want to go
white
back to
and pretty, and
Xbox?
it has a Destiny logo on the top.
Yeah. Because you did mention that you got the
The Legendary
Destiny.
Edition, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's
pretty
pretty.
legit, pretty legit. Um, I think the only other big thing that happened this week for me was I got a new car.
Yep.
Yeah, got a new car,
Yay.
all-wheel drive, so it'll actually be really nice for where I'm at during the winter months and things like that. Because I gotta travel over mountains
Sure.
and all
Drive an
that.
hour to work.
Yeah, and all that BS. And if I get caught in the snow, my focus isn't gonna
Do
look at
anything.
it, and blow up.
Right.
So yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
gotta.
done here.
Yeah. Well, and again, it was, and just real quick, a story was when I was still back in college, the first day back for spring semester, because of course when you start back, it's like January,
Right.
so it's still very much winter. And first day back had like two. I think I literally did. I had two classes that day, and they were calling for snow. They were like, "Hey, we're gonna get like such and such inches. Like it was gonna be quite a bit."
Okay.
And so I was like, "Well, I don't want to be that guy that misses out on the very first day of class. They put me down, and that's an absence against me that I can't use for something more important
Right.
later. It's like taking sick days or vacation days or something like
Mhm.
that. So I was like, screw it. It's not, and that's the thing too. And it's like they've around here. There's a lot of cry wolf that goes on where they're like, oh, we're gonna have the storm of the century, and then
Yeah,
it's just like
nothing
sunny and
happens.
it's like sunny and 70 outside, and you're like, yeah,
The
whatever.
storm's brutal.
Yeah, so so that was kind of the part too where I was like, they're full of shit. Like I'm just gonna go to school and I'm gonna end up going to all of my classes, and then I'll be home before you know it. So I get there and I go into my first class. Not even 5 minutes into it, it just starts shitting snow everywhere, and so we go through the rest of the class. Well, we get through most of the class, and then probably about 10 minutes before it's supposed to be let out, like everyone's phones like vibrate and light
For
up and
the
all that
alert.
stuff, and it was our university closing for the rest
Mm.
of the day. And like we weren't on like we were like on the first floor, but the windows were really high up, so we couldn't see like the ground or anything.
Sure.
Dude, we all walked out, and I like there was like that much snow on the ground
Oh
from
wow.
the little time that we were in there. And those classes, or at least the one that I was in, was like your standard, so it only lasted like an hour and 20 minutes or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So in like an hour and 20 minutes, if even, it snowed like 3 inches or something crazy, or or if not, like more. Um, but I go to get in my car because it looked like the roads were pretty clear, but the
Parking
parking
lot.
lots were like so. Dude, I get in my car and it's idling because I drive like I drive manual transmission,
Sure.
so I had it in neutral. I let off the brake and like my car doesn't roll back or roll forward. It just starts going
This
this
side.
way. And I'm what is this? What's happening right now? And so so I go and I stomp on the brake, nothing. So then I start doing this, or I start, so now I'm like rotating. But what's scary as hell is there's a car like
Yeah, parked. Sure.
two spots down from me, and I'm like, well, I can't. I mean, what am I gonna do? Like, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
And fortunately, it caught like a drier
Yeah,
area
and
and like
caught.
stopped. And so I like slowly pull back into the parking spot and I actually luckily there was somebody that lived in dorms over there, so I just went and hung out with them for most of the night,
Gotcha.
until until the parking lots were salted and a lot of the stuff had melted away and things like that. But yeah, dude, couldn't
I
even
like.
move.
Yeah.
I didn't even press the gas, and my car was like, I can't do this. Like, I'm out. And so yeah, this car that I have now will absolutely not do that. It's interesting because and I know we're going way over time, but one thing for me is I've always had pre-owned cars, and I've always had old
Right.
pre-owned.
Right.
So the one that I had, the Focus, was a 2003. That had been the most recent
Year model. Yeah.
year model car that I had ever owned. Everything was mid to early 90s. Um, and so it was one of those things where I'm on a hill. Sorry, for context, my new car is also manual transmission. For those of you who weren't sure, like what I'm about to talk about or anything, but we were on a hill, um, going somewhere yesterday, and it was one of those things where I'm expecting rollback.
Sure. Yeah, they don't do
But
that
with
anymore.
the new cars now, they don't move.
No, they
Like,
don't do that
yeah.
anymore.
And another thing is that I was at my parents' house. They've kind of got their driveway kind of slopes downward,
Mm-hmm.
and so what I used to do
They just put it in
is
neutral, let go
I'd
of the
throw
brake.
it in neutral and then just let it roll back, and I would turn around and drive.
Yep.
So I put it in neutral and let go of the brake, and nothing happens. And
Right.
it's one of those things where I literally had to put the shifter, I had to shift it into reverse
Reverse. Yep.
before it let go of that lock, that roll lock or whatever.
Huh.
And it's crazy. Like, it's interesting to see that there's features out there like that. First car that I've had, automatic doors. First car that I've had, automatic windows. Um,
Wow. Yeah,
yeah,
you're getting up
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like
So I
automatic
mean,
doors is in locks. Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
like, yeah, and like, I did have an alarm system on a car, but it was built in, like it was added into a Honda Civic at the time.
Sure.
So like it didn't lock your car or anything. It's just if you you probably had to take a hammer to it before the alarm would actually sound. But yeah, you still had to manually lock your doors and stuff on the Honda and things like that. So this is the first one where I've actually had, um, you know,
It's your big boy car.
yeah, it's my
I'm an
real,
adult now.
yeah, it's my real car. So
Nice.
yeah, it's been quite an experience. I love driving it. The ride is smooth as hell. Like, because I think I had talked about it previously, with you and on the podcast too. But with the Ford Focus on the interstate, like I get up to like 70, and this car's like it's like shaking. Like I feel like I would just rattle the damn wheel off one day, like if I wasn't careful. And this is not the case now. Super nice and things like that. So yeah, so it's really cool. So yeah, I'm still discovering things like I get to hook up to Bluetooth now, so there's no
Yep.
auxiliary cable. I mean, they have a spot where you can do auxiliary cables and things like that for things that don't have Bluetooth, but this day and age, mostly everything has Bluetooth
Heck
now.
yeah.
But it's really awesome. Like, you've got your controls on the steering wheel, so I'm not always having to go over to it's just the little things. Like, it's the little things that just make all the difference.
Right.
Um, so yeah, it's pretty entertaining for sure. So, but anyway, I'm enjoying it. I've got a long time of paying on it.
Yeah.
So
Would you like
yeah,
a 60 month?
no, dude, it's like
72?
72.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like 6 or 7 years. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it
be
don't
paying.
last you that long, so it doesn't
Oh
matter.
yeah, well, obviously for our zero viewers that have a grudge against me, I'm not going to talk about what vehicle I have per se.
Right.
But the type of vehicle that I have, they are well known for their durability and reliance. So,
Yeah. It'll be
see,
worth it.
yeah, but anyway, well, unless you had anything else to add, I think that about wraps us up
Get a
today.
PS4 instead of an Xbox One.
Yeah, yeah, that's our PSA. Step one is awareness.
This
So.
message or this episode is brought to you by Sony.
Yeah.
Nah,
I
just
will,
kidding.
I will say that it's really cool now because I had talked about I mean I guess I was talking about it last podcast, the update that Sony had in beta for the like YouTube stream.
Oh yeah, it's now
That's the
up.
update that we've been talking about. Like, they had their beta, and that's the thing. It's like Xbox betas last for a long
Long
time,
time.
and Sony's like, all right, here's the beta. Not even a week later, hey, get ready for the system update for
Yep. Yep.
that's client wide and stuff like that. And I was like, holy cow, like that took no time at all. But
Right.
yeah, so I guess look for me on YouTube Gaming now.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh, yeah, I
really
forgot you
again,
made the switch now. 'Cause
yeah,
it's on there.
like I don't really stream a lot. I streamed a couple times. I guess it was Friday morning.
Yeah, I think I saw you when you
Well, I
took
tried
the
playing
day.
Rocket League.
Yeah, I didn't
I
see it, but
played
I saw the video.
I played 3 games of Rocket League and got smashed every single game. I was like, why do I even try to play this game anymore? Like, it's so frustrating. I can't stand it. And then I tried playing Drive Club, which was so yeah. So
I've
I
heard
would
nothing
not.
but bad things about that, so.
Yeah, it's really bad. Like, I'm probably gonna uninstall it from my system today when I think about it. But yeah, so
Yeah, look for him on there, and you guys know where I'm at, Twiggy Gaming. I'm on. Every time we play, I stream. That's just what I do.
yeah,
Even though
that's
I have very
he's the
little
str-
viewers. I stream every single time.
Mhm.
TWIGGIE Gaming.
That's all one word, by the way.
Yep.
So yeah, and then of course the old noodle. I mean, if you're watching, which nobody did today, but hey,
Yeah, I saw somebody come in, but they didn't say hi. So
that could
hey,
change. But yeah, I mean, check us out. The old noodle, TheOldNoodle,
yep.
all one word on YouTube. That's where we're at now. We are no longer on Twitch.
Nope. For the past
Um,
like 3 episodes, I think it's all been YouTube.
Yeah, and Luke is desperately trying to put the audio versions on SoundCloud, but SoundCloud's
Yeah, it's
being a bit
getting-
of a punk,
yeah,
not letting them. So we'll see if we can't get the
that
last
updated. Yeah.
last episode and this episode up on there. So yeah, but as for that, we will catch you all next week.
Sounds good.
All right, bye.